Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on ABS Television. The headlines. Anambra residents urged to protect Earth's surface from natural disasters. Okozo community calls for government intervention over devastation by rainstorm. President Buhari advocates functional mass education to tackle social vices. Pakistan initiates measures to restore peace with India. My name is Priska Wangwo, and now the news in detail. As the world marks Water Day, with respect to its importance to human survival and healthy living, the Office of the Southeast Wash Ambassador, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, in collaboration with NewMap, Society of Water and Sanitation, Anambra State Chapter, as well as the Ministry of Public Utilities, embarked on a 3-kilometer advocacy work to sensitize in the Anambra on the need to embrace water hygiene. Valentine Mbadoha has the details.
Addressing the crowd while flagging off the event, the Southeast Wash Ambassador, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, represented by the Program Coordinator, NewMap, Anambra State Chapter, Mr. Michael Ivenso, emphasized on the need for regular intake of good water as well as adopting effective techniques in controlling rainfall to help protect the Earth's surface.
The importance of today underscores what we as a people do and how we use resources that are available to us. We must, as a people, be very conscious of how we use these very scarce resources. Water is good for drinking, is good for agriculture, is good for everything. It's good for keeping the atmosphere and the environment in a very balanced state.
In their separate remarks, the Commissioner for Public Utilities, Mr. Obiwanko, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. Douglas Mba, Mr. Igobike Emmanuel, while appreciating those that participated in the work, noted that Anambra State water sector, under the watch of Governor Willie Obiano and the support from the Wash Ambassador, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, has emerged the best in the whole Federation. They disclosed that the state government, through the Ministry, will commence the second phase of borehole rehabilitation, which would capture over 350 boreholes across the state. They urged Anambra to remain supportive of Governor Obiano's administration by protecting the water project facilities, especially in the rural communities, to help sustain the tempo of development in the water sector.
Having it in this state, but this year's own is quite different. World Water Day, put it into practice. It will help the state, it will help you as an individual, it will help your homes, it will help everybody in Anambra State, so that our state will remain first in everything we are doing. Please, keep it up.
We urge you this day to ensure you drink potable water. That is one. Number two is to help us to protect the water facilities. Wherever you see the water facility, remember the importance of water to mankind.
Commending Dr. Mrs. Obiano and other partner agencies for their immense contributions towards the success of the event, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Donor Agency, Mrs. Mary Ogugwa, who noted that contaminated water has a negative impact towards a healthy living, urged the participants, including the students and members of the National Youth Service Corps, among other participating agencies, to continue the sensitization to help eradicate intake of unhygienic water and to help people adopt the best approach towards having access to good water. The advocacy and sensitization work, which took place in Oka, began from St. Faith's Pro Cathedral Oka through a Oka roundabout to Aroma and ended at the Ministry of Public Utilities, Government House Oka. In Oka, Valentine Mbadoga reporting for ABS News.
Members of Okozo community in Oyi Council area of Anambra State have sent a safer soul to the state government following devastation wreaked in the area by rainstorm. Staff reporter Njideka Okoye went round some of the villages to ascertain the rate of damage caused by the rain. Her reports.
Over 5 buildings had their rooftops blown off by the heavy wind that accompanied the rain as ABS met the owners and some members of the community clearing and packing the zinc and other materials destroyed by the rain. Fences were pulled down, with many economic trees destroyed by the rainstorm, even as some of them fell on top of residential buildings. Electric poles with high-tension wires were also affected, causing power outage in the town. Narrating their ordeal, the owner of a 4-bedroom apartment, Mr. Sunshine Nwafo, regretted that all their belongings have been damaged as the wind pulled down the roof of their buildings, rendering them homeless. While the owner of a hospitality building heavily affected by the rain, Mr. Godwin Udemmadu, said his many years of labor were lost to the rainstorm and that he does not know where to start again as he has no one to help him. They solicited help from government and good-spirited individuals for them to start life afresh.
So there's rain, and after rain, it spoiled my house. Are you getting me? So I don't know how I would do. That's why I call government to come and help me.
Ma book one government. Ka anya ke onwo bunu ma ko metuta no obi ka bia ma aka. Me aburu no ri ka meje mo nwo zi ban gba eki mezi na obosili ike. And age ndị wee mete nke adị ọzọ age ahụ before wee nyekwada tie enwetakwa ya ọzọ na agadi ya bagi ya na ma ayọba ka onwe ike ya aka ma ọ bụ individual metali onwe ike bịa gbata m ọsọ eme aka na ma credit ndị mmadụ na ya enye ezikwu m nsogbu nwe ike emekata omebe m obi mapụ because onwe ndị nata cement ha ndị natara ma zinc nje rụọ na karọpụsụ ụgbọ ya.
Another victim, Mr. Nwoye, whose rooftop was damaged, recalled that the community witnessed such devastation in 1957 and in 2012 and regretted the hardship caused the community. The President General of the community, Chief George Echese, who took ABS round the town, said that all villages in Okozo were affected, saying that this is beyond what they can handle, and called on the state government to come to their aid and the EDDC to refix the affected poles to restore electricity in Okozo.
Osisi daa ebe niile waya anyị niile ndobi anyị nwere ọkụ nke anọ kịta anyị na-akpọ ma ndị EDC Electricity Corporation ka wa doziela anyị ọkụ akpọkwa na Anambra State gọọmenti ka wa bịakwanyela anyị aka anyị wee nwee ike inyere ụmụnne anyị ndị ibe amekwasara aka anyị enwerekwana ike ime nwebe ọbụla na gọọmenti nyere anyị aka anyị onwe ike nyere aka.
The chairman of Mbago's village, Mr. Onyeka Ozemena, and Adabo's village, Mr. Vincent Anebonam, while lamenting their huge loss, thanked God that no life was lost. From Okozo, in Oyikanso area, Njedeka Okoye, ABS News.
Agricultural value chain stakeholders of Ebonyi and Ogun states joined their Anambra State's counterparts for a 3-day workshop on the operation and management of some farm machineries. The workshop, which centered on practical demonstration of the various ways of using the simple farm implements to reduce drudgery and encourage youth to take up agriculture as a business, took place in Awka due to Governor Willie Obiano's security architecture. Agri-correspondent Ebele Eze has the details.
Declaring the workshop open, the State Program Coordinator, IFAD VCDP, Mr. Anambra, said the workshop was aimed at nurturing the farmers on how to use and maintain the labor-saving agricultural devices for high yield. Mr. Aguncha, while describing poverty as man's greatest enemy, charged them to work hard, increase their skills, income, and create employment for others.
Be useful to yourself, be useful to people around the cluster, render the services. Have something in your pocket, have some reserve in the bank. So on this, I will welcome all of you to Anambra, the light of the nation, the safest state in Nigeria.
The National Agri-Production Officer, IFAD VCDP, Mr. Chika Onama said, as the main farming season approaches, they thought it wise to enhance farmers' productivity as cost of labor for planting and transplanting is very expensive. Dr. Onama announced that the National Office of IFAD VCDP will pay 70% of the total cost of any implement chosen by any group that has made available their 30% matching grant.
I want to, as they're preparing for the main season now, I want to equip our farmers with labor-saving devices to enhance their productivity. They have been complaining that labor for planting and transplanting are costing a lot of money. So we want to alleviate, I think, the way anyone can help to alleviate this issue of high cost of labor.
The State Agri-Production Officer, IFAD VCDP, Mr. Emmanuel Chukwukwalo, while lamenting the dwindling nature of youth involvement in agriculture, advised participants to listen attentively to anything that will be impacted on them by the resource persons to increase their production. Also speaking, the Agri-Production Officers for Ebonyi and the Ogun States, Mr. Darlington Ongele and Mrs. Ajisa Temitokwe, respectively, said, since the farmers have acquired best agronomic practices in rice and cassava value chains, when farmers acquire and operationally master the farm implements, it will rekindle youth interest, ease production, and increase productivity. For a rice farmer from Ogun State, Mr. Gbemishora Kolawole, his Ebonyi State counterpart, Mrs. Elizabeth Edu, and a processor from Omo Ayamelum local government area, Mrs. Ifeyunwoko, confessed that the farm implements will no doubt catapult them to the next level in farming.
Great pleasure for me to be in this training because the training is moving me from the level I am to next level now. Because before this training, all what I've been practicing on farm is manual. We are using manual system to practice, and with this manual system, it is hard labor, and we cannot produce much. But now with this training, we are introduced to mechanized farming, where they present many equipments to us, many implements that can help us on our farm to produce more.
Extremely, it will take me far. I'm happy to be here. Agriculture has passed the area of manual labor. We are now going mechanized. We can do it with our hands. If we are able to procure and make use of this, I think the agriculture we are talking about will go commercial, which is our intention, and not for only commercial purposes. And we'll be able to cultivate in quantity and export to other countries. The land is there, the knowledge is there, but the material which we have come to learn today is lacking.
Yes, what I'm doing here today is we came on training based on agricultural mechanization. That is how to use modern machine to farm today. Because in the olden days, what we are using is we are just suffering ourselves, using our energy. But today, government had made it so easy for us. So by giving us machines that can help us to work, so there is no more stress today.
The workshop climaxed with practical demonstration of over 20 different farm implements by the farmers. In Oka, I am Ebele Eze, reporting for ABS News.
The Enugu community has embarked on Operation Clean Up Enugu, which is a 6-day intensive cleanup exercise across major areas of the town. The exercise undertaken by the Enugu Development Union, EDU, is aligned with the present Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra State program, endorsed by Governor Willie Obiano. Correspondent Daniel Ezigwe takes the story from here.
The Operation Clean Enugu is one of the reform models initiated by the present leadership of the town and is expected to be instituted into the town's sanitation calendar with a formal launch as Operation Enugu must be clean next month. The cleanup exercise has workers deployed to various sites to desilt congested gutters and dispose of the waste materials. The President General of EDU, Comrade Bonnie Ozonkwaku, who supervised the exercise, said the work was motivated by success story of the Anambra State government in the area of sanitation Education, Comrade Ozonkwak, expressed hope that the project would yield encouraging results and admonish the people of the area to avoid indiscriminate refuse disposal into the cleaned gutters.
We are cleaning up, trying to open up the gutters at this axis to make sure that the water flows very well. During Easter Monday, when we run this operation Clean Up Enugu Must Be Clean project, now we invite people to showcase what we want to do for the operation. You know, people must not litter refuse anyhow.
The project supervisor, Nze Chukwudi Ezenwaka, said they were focused on achieving maximum success in the exercise as the project has enjoyed strong joint efforts by the stakeholders.
Other places we are already open up, and by tomorrow work will start till next week to make sure we clean everything, make sure that everything is clean.
From Enugu in Njikoka Council area, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
President Muhammadu Buhari says that all the recorded crises of nationhood experienced in Nigeria could be attributed to ignorance and lack of education, insisting that functional mass education is the only way it can be corrected. Buhari, who spoke as a visitor at the 8th convocation ceremony of the National Open University of Nigeria, NOUN, in Abuja, said the federal government has resolved to increase investment and attention in the education sector, particularly in open and distance learning system for increased access to university education. No fewer than 20,799 students were awarded various classes of degree at the ceremony. Out of the figure, 15,642 candidates were undergraduates and 5,157 were postgraduate students. 103 undergraduate students made first class. The president, who was represented by a senior official of the National Universities Commission, NUC, Victor Onwoha, highlighted the role of NOUN in achieving the target of increased access to education. And now business news. The Central Bank of Nigeria has injected $268.60 million in the retail secondary market intervention sales of the foreign exchange markets. A statement from the CBN said that the sums were injected to meet requests of customers in the agricultural, airlines, petroleum products and raw materials and machinery sectors. The Apex Bank's Director, Corporate Communications Department, Isaac Okorafo, also confirmed that the sum was for the payment of renminbi-denominated letters of credit for agriculture as well as raw materials. The transaction was in addition to the $210 million injected into the wholesale, small and medium enterprises and invisible segments of the market, according to the bank. Pakistan wants peace with India and they should focus on health and education. The Pakistani president said this during a parade to show off its military might following a tense standoff between the nuclear-armed neighbors. Conflicts between the rivals erupted last month following a suicide bomb attack claimed by a Pakistan-based militant group in the Indian party of the disputed and divided Kashmir region that killed 40 paramilitary police. Pakistani warplanes engaged in a dogfight with Indian aircraft over Kashmir on February 27, a day after a raid by Indian jets on what it said was a militant camp in Pakistan. In their first such clash since their last war in 1971, Pakistan downed an Indian plane and captured its pilot after he ejected over Pakistan-controlled Kashmir. The pilot was later released by Pakistan as a peace gesture. The military parade included an air show featuring the Pakistani-built GF-17 fighter jets. One of the aircraft shot down the Indian plane last month. And now sports news. In spite of having capped for England at the 2018 UEFA European Under-17 Championship, prolific Arsenal youth team striker Folarin Balogun is not ruling out the possibility of switching international allegiance to Nigeria. Born in New York and raised in the United Kingdom, Folarin Balogun is provisionally cap-tied to England as he represented the Young Lions at the 2018 UEFA European Under-17 Championship. playing 4 games as England reached the semi-finals, but the free-scoring Arsenal striker has hinted at switching international allegiance from England to Nigeria. The 17-year-old has played for the United States under-18 in 4 friendlies, scoring 2 goals. Balogun, who was born on July 3, 2001, recently decided to pledge his long-term future to Arsenal by signing a new deal last month. Governor Willie Obiano has called on the state citizenry to always live a life worthy of emulation by performing their various civic responsibilities. Governor Obiano made the plea while condoling the family of late Lady Bessie Onwamebu, who was the mother of the state acting Chief Judge, Justice Ijem Onwamebu. Government House correspondent Ejike Abana reports that a funeral service was held at St. John the Apostle Anglican Church, Isu Oba, in the Demilit South Council area. His reports.
Governor urged the family to carry on with their mother's good legacies to immortalize her and pledged to continue to do all he can to touch the lives of the citizenry in the remaining years of his administration, notwithstanding various challenges.
I am very, if you will, happy to be at this occasion to give the final respect to Mama. Mama missed by a few days the excellent, if you will, upliftment of our daughter. God knows the best. A quick glance at her biography, you see that she lived a good life, probably trained by various men of God, and of course, took a career in catering, and did all she did in London and wherever she did in many towns in Nigeria.
In a sermon, the Anglican bishop on the Niger, Right Reverend Owen Nwokolo, who drew analogy between the late Lady Onwamebu and Dorcas in the Bible, pointed out that people should display Christian virtues in their daily lives. Bishop Nwokolo, who described her as a useful servant, added that she was deeply committed to the service of God, humanity, and the church.
He was full of good work and acts of charity. In those days, she became ill and died. And when they had washed her, they laid her in an upper room. Since Lydda was near Joppa, the disciples, hearing that Peter was there, sent 2 men to him, urging him, "Please come to us without delay."
The acting chief judge of the state, Justice Ijem Onwamebu, and her brother, General Emeka Onwamebu, were full of gratitude to everyone for honoring their mother with their presence and through other means, asking for God's blessings.
Everybody for coming, particularly. Did I forget their former excellencies? My brothers took care of them. Thank you. Thank you. Their excellency, they serve the government of Anambra State. We are grateful to you for honoring our mother in their presence. And listen, I thank each and every one of you.
We are happy that we have some of the Nehru blood flowing in us. In the Nehru, you're welcome. Last but not the least, the knights and the lady knights. Our late father, now our late mother, both of them were very proud members of your order. Our mother, up till when she passed away, would say, "Oh, that my younger brother Kuchara was already a knight," and asked why I wouldn't start living my life right so that I would become a knight.
Speaking to the ABS, an ABGA BOT member, Chief Romy Ezo-Onwoka, and a frontline businessman, Sir Daniel Chukwudozie, described her as a rare gem and urged the family to remain united. They called on the acting chief judge to do her duties with the fear of God, reminding her that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. The service was attended by dignitaries including the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Godfrey Onyama, Chief of Staff to the Governor, Mr. Primus Odele, Works Commissioner, Engineer Marcel Ifejiofor, former Governors Peter Obi and Dame Beji Otiaba, former Chief of Army Staff, retired Major General Azubike Hijirika, Senator Andy Oba, and former SSG Mr. Henry Obaze, among others. Late Lady Bessie Onwa-Mebu was aged 91 and was wife to the past Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice of the East Central State and a judge of the Anambra State High Court. The service featured renditions by the choir and prayer for the family. From Oba, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from many parts of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And now the main points. Anambra residents have been urged to protect Earth's surface from natural disasters. Okozo community has called for government intervention over devastation by rainstorm. President Buhari advocates functional mass education to tackle social vices. Pakistan has initiated measures to restore peace with India. And that's the end of the Breakfast News on ABS Television. My name is Priska Welcome. Many thanks for watching. Good morning.